Alright guys, welcome back. Zuri Vankovich here, and today the question that I'm asking myself while making this video is how can I make this process of creation as fun as possible? How can I make it occur to me as play and self-expression as much as possible? And with that intention, the idea is if I'm having a good time doing this, maybe, just maybe, you're gonna have a good time on the receiving end of content. And so that's kind of the concept I want to share with you today. Something that's been really profound for me, especially last year in 2023. So I joined this coaching program with a bunch of studs, really badass guys. Love these guys. And together we do a lot of difficult things together. And one of the advantages of doing difficult things is there's usually some sort of trade-off, right? Like people work out to look a certain way or increase their endurance or their strength, right? People work really hard so that they can make money, provide for their families, and enjoy the finer things in life. So I get caught up in this trap, and I used to have this limiting belief, and it still comes up sometimes, that in order to make more money, in order to be successful, you have to grind, you have to put down your head, you have to sacrifice, you have to sacrifice, you have to sacrifice. And I just think that was instilled to me at a young age, and it's instilled in a lot of people. But a lot of the people that I hang out with these days, it's really unique because a lot of them have successful businesses, yet they play all the time. Like they're having fun, they're partying, they're going out, they're going to workshops or personal development retreats, they're learning things that they want to do, yet they're still making a lot of money. And then I also know a lot of people that work really hard, traditional construction jobs, 9 to 5s, they work probably way more and harder than my other friends, and it's kind of like, who's got it? Like, these guys seem to have it right. They're working less, they're playing more, they're having more fun. These guys are miserable, they're working all the time, all they can talk about or think about is work, and they're stressed. And so there's got to be some sort of secret in this. And so one of my coaches, Alan, who's a good friend of mine now, he introduced this concept to us probably 6 to 8 months ago, and it's the concept of play. And we're all doing hard things every single day. For a period of a year, I was doing pretty much 100 burpees first thing in the morning, and I got to the point where I can do 30 to 40 burpees in a row. I can do more than that, but 3 sets of 33, I'd hit my 100, and I'm sweating after that. That's a good first thing in the morning. But we got assigned this other task where we had to do something fun. We had to do some sort of active play. So not only are we doing the hard thing, we're rewarding ourselves with some sort of daily active play, because as you're trying to build anything in life, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can just put your head down. For me, I'll share a quick story with you. I moved to Sacramento in 2019 from Canada to start selling solar panels. I sold solar systems. And my mindset around that, especially with my previous sales job before, is I'm just gonna be the hardest worker. And if I'm the hardest worker, I'm thereby, if I'm putting more hours, I'm making more calls, I'm gonna get the most results. But I'd sacrifice my quality of life and not make the process as enjoyable as it could be. So one of the things that this program really helped us with is making the process fun. So the daily active play was a really nice addition, because on top of the grind, he was asking us, what are the things you love to do as a child? For me, it was video games and sports. I loved running around, being a goofball, right? Those are things that brought me joy. And so I actually started playing a little bit of video games. And video games, there's this stigma in the self-help world where video games are bad and you can't be successful and play video games and you have to cut them out. And it's just not true. A lot of my friends here that do really, really well, they're playing FIFA, they're playing Fortnite, they're doing all these things. I'm like, how are you guys running successful businesses and just playing all the time? But they have an energy, and they're in this frequency that they can do this, right? So I started playing video games. That wasn't quite scratching the itch like it used to. It was fun for a little bit, but I got kind of bored of it. What really made the difference for me is being active. Not just going to the gym and grinding, because I love doing that, but going and playing sports. I signed up for a soccer league here and playing sports 2 to 3 times a week, 2 games of soccer, playing basketball every week. And I'll just tell you, I feel lit up. I'm a pretty competitive person. I love to win. I love to play against people who are better than me. And a lot of these guys are really good at basketball. So it fires me up to try and compete against them. And, you don't always win the 5-on-5 games, but when you do, it's awesome. And when you lose, you still have a good time, right? So it's not about winning all the time. It's just about the act of playing and enjoying it. So what I noticed is I have my own solar company now, and I was taking a lot of solar sales calls last year. I noticed that my production, the amount of people that wanted to work with me and signed up for our services, went up a lot when I was in a frequency and a higher energetic state of quality of life. So what I found is that the more that I was happy, taking care of myself and meeting my fun needs, meeting my health needs, taking care of myself, the more relatable I was on those calls, and the more people just naturally wanted to work for me. Like my closing rate was higher because my energetic rate was higher. So people liked working with me. And that's so interesting because when I first started out, I had a lot of struggle because I wasn't looking to connect with the other person, right? I was just like looking at people as dollar signs, okay, I have to knock all these doors, and the more doors I knock, the more money I'm gonna make, and all these things. And in return, I wasn't actually getting that many clients. So it's kind of counterproductive, but the more fun you have, the more play you can integrate your life, and the more you can gamify the process of life, the more better results you're ultimately going to get. And even if you don't get the best result, if you gamify things and you have fun and you're trying to enjoy the process, aren't you living a better life during that process? Because I've sacrificed years of my life for personal development, all these things. And on one hand, sacrifice is really, really good. In order to get to the next level of anything you're trying to do, there are things you're going to have to give up. But you don't have to give up the things that bring you joy all the time, right? It's like a choice. So there's a few things you can do to implement that. But my question for you is, what is something you can gamify, right? And whatever position you're in, how can you make work a little bit more enjoyable, right? One of the easy things is we used to take turns buying donuts. Donuts are terrible for you, probably not the best thing to do. Wouldn't do that these days. But buying donuts for the office, we'd all just randomly take turns doing that. And then everybody would just feel good, everybody snacking on donuts. That was a fun activity. But the people that you're going with, how can you have more fun with your coworkers? Can you, telling jokes, right? There's that camaraderie. But outside of work, when you get home, instead of just clicking on TV and falling into the default programming, it's what can you do that would make you come alive? So for me, sports and video games were two things that I enjoyed doing as a kid. What's something that you enjoyed doing as a kid that would actually bring you a lot of fulfillment, happiness, and make you more fun to be around, right? Because if you feel like you're in the sacrifice mode and you're giving all the time and you're not getting ahead or getting where you want to be, you start feeling resentment. I noticed I started feeling resentment. It's wow, I'm putting in all the work, I'm sacrificing all these things, I'm not getting the result. And then you almost think the world owes you something. And when you can drop that, when you can actually have peace of mind and you can actually just enjoy the process, you don't I think the reason more people wanted to work with me is I wasn't so attached to the outcome. I'm how can I go into the sales call and just have fun, right? Let's just get to know the person, let's see if it's actually going to be beneficial for them. If they sign up, awesome, that's freaking great. But if they don't sign up, I don't attach all this meaning I'm bad at what I do, these people, they can't be trusted, all these things that clients say they're going to sign up and they don't. But it's I don't have the expectation of it, and I truly think people energetically can feel that on the other side of the call. And then it's just a matter of, okay, this makes sense, let's move forward. Or if it doesn't make sense for them, they could have a multitude of reasons that I don't know about, that weren't communicated in there, of why it wouldn't make sense. So at the end of the day, instead of beating myself up for it, because I just went in with the intention to have fun, get to know the person, and help them, I'd get better results. And in return, my income increased. I was actually having more fun doing things, making more money, when in the past I'd be sacrificing, right, working 50, 60 hours a week on the business, and then not getting as good results. So that's something that I feel is really, really interesting, that it's counterintuitive, right? The societal norm is, to make money, it has to be a grind, it has to be tough. And that's a reality for some people, right? You watch Suits, they're all putting in 80-hour weeks. You know, Wall Street, you know, all the financial institutions. Grind, 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 grind. But then I know some coaches, consultants, some freelancers and creatives, you know, they might work 40 hours a week, but they're having way more fun. They're actually making way more money, and they're enjoying the process. So it's like, if you have to choose, right, which belief system would you rather adopt? And that's what I'm leaning towards with this. So in terms of like creating, right? Creating content is one of the more priorities I want to give this year. I think there's multiple issues in the world, right? In terms of like the messaging that men are fed, societal norms, all this, that need to be corrected. And I think, I can't help but think, how can I make this process as fun as possible? I want to work with guys and really just walk them through a transformation that I've had over the last 7 years of what does it mean to be a man, right? What does it mean to exist in this world, to work hard, to achieve? Why do we want to achieve in the first place? Like, there's all these natural things that there's like conflicting messaging, and I just feel like there's a way to do it that could be fun, way more fruitful than what I've been doing with the business, and that's ultimately what I want to share with you. So with that being said, I'm kind of curious, is this a belief system that you already have adopted? And if so, like, what kind of play are you integrating into your life right now to like make your enjoyable, like, here's the thing, guys, if we're spending 80 hours a week, 40 hours a week, 30 hours a week working, the belief system is I want to make those 30 hours as enjoyable as possible, because that means the other 60 hours of the week or whatever that we're not working, I don't want that to be the only downtime of me kicking it, having a good time. Like, I want to integrate both. And obviously there's hard work, right? And a lot of people are afraid to work hard these days, but it's because they don't actually feel inspired and they don't feel connected to their work, they don't feel appreciated, right? But if you can meet these needs on your own, you can make the work interesting, you can make it meaningful, then ultimately you're just going to get a lot better results in whatever endeavor you go towards, and you're going to be more enjoyable to work with. You're going to be more fun to live with on your own journey as well, and living with yourself, because that, at the end of the day, is the most important one. If you find yourself not prioritizing yourself or not appreciating yourself, it's going to be hard for other people to appreciate you as well. All right, so let's go out there. Let's make play a priority, because without it, life gets pretty boring, mundane, repetitive, and not fun. So let's get out there, let's make it fun, gamify the process, and we'll see you in the next video.